So, since we're at Friday, I just wonder if you're heading out for your vacation. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio, especially with all these road trips. What is it that you do on a road trip? Like, for instance, Ninja, one of our producers, what is it you do?
So, every time I get on a road trip, I have to call somebody and talk. It's mostly my mom, but it makes the trip go by faster.
Is this when you're on your own? Like you're on your own solo road trip?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Because if someone's in the car, then I don't need to call somebody. We can just chat.
You just chat away.
Unless my husband falls asleep.
And then do you make a call?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
See, it does. I do the same thing. I travel a lot by myself, and so I'll use that opportunity to call and do business kind of stuff, you know?
I'm not so much making calls. Every now and then I will, but mostly mine is just the road jam out. So I have a playlist and I just jam out.
I can see that. Scott, his family has a very interesting road trip tradition.
Two different stories, because when I get on the car, I want to get to where I'm going as fast as I can. And my wife has turned this road trip thing into like, which rest area can we stop at now? It's like every time she wants to stop at rest areas.
She wants to?
She wants to.
Oh, see, I don't.
Out, stretch her legs. I mean, uses the restroom, of course, but it's almost like she's taking a map out and going, okay, we've been to this one. We've been to this one. Let's go to this one. Well, where's another one that we can find?
That's very interesting.
Maybe she's putting push pins in a map to say, well, I went to the rest stop here and there.
Hey, very interested in your road trip tradition. Check out the My His Radio app. Use the open mic. And on the open mic on the My His Radio app right now, let us know if you stop at every rest area.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning. His radio.
It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. So your vacation, I don't know if you've taken it yet, if you're getting ready to, but there's always the tradition of those vacations that you take on the road trips. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. And here's our open mic, but in context. With Scott, there's a very interesting tradition that has been started by, it's your wife, right?
Right. Stopping at every rest stop imaginable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness.
Every rest stop. And sometimes they can be like, 10 miles apart. In some states, not always.
Oh, that would frustrate me.
I know, right? So here's the open mic that just came in through the My His Radio app.
When we go on road trips, we don't stop in every single rest area because I hate having to catch up to the traffic that I've already passed up.
Good point.
But my boys do love stop on rest areas because they get to go to the side of the freeway. Well, not on the freeway, to the side, and they do the pulling, doing the hand motion to have the trucks honk, and it's really great because a lot of people honk, just regular cars, trucks, everyone.
Okay, I think I understand that his kids are not going over to the interstate.
No, they're not.
They're
where
the trucks are coming in. Yeah, they're where the trucks are coming in. They have their own spot. So then you do the hand motion, so they go, wonk, wonk.
That's right. I still do that today. Absolutely. It's so much fun. Well, Kat texted, and she said their tradition, they get up early. They leave at like 1 or 2 in the morning so that they run into less traffic, which is such a smart idea. But she said they also have healthy snacks. And I'm talking like fruit and cheese. Basically, Kat is putting together a charcuterie board, I think,
right?
for the road trip.
That's the best ever.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning. His radio.
The season of road trips have arrived. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning on his radio. So here's an open mic that just came in about road trips and some of those traditions that you do. The open mic is through the My His Radio app.
My daughters and I like to play a game called Red Car, where you get a point for every red car you see, 2 points for every red truck, or 3 points for every 18-wheeler. The first one to see it gets the point. If you call out red and it happens to be another color, you get deducted those same points. And we basically do that until we get tired of playing.
Okay, that is like the most unique game I've ever heard. We usually do the alphabet, so it's license plates or road signs or anything to get from A to Z. But this sounds really unique.
Yeah, and especially deducting points. If you
right. I see a red one. Where? That's yellow. Come on, dude.
Lana texted and said, okay, anytime they drive anywhere longer than 2 hours, they have to stop at Cracker Barrel.
Oh, so nice. I think that's a Scott tradition, too.
Seems like we were stopping at this one Cracker Barrel near Walterboro, South Carolina. Just about every trip that we made down to Florida, it was always that halfway point where it's, all right, it's time to eat. Well, there's a Cracker Barrel. Hey, we're in Walterboro. It's the same one.
Let me tell you, every time you stop at a Cracker Barrel, you know what you're going to get.
You kind of
know,
consistency. You're right. Yeah.
It's the rocking chairs. It's that store, and it is. I love what is it? There, it's some kind of potato casserole that they
hash
have.
brown casserole.
Oh my word! I want some right now.
I think I heard an audible from everybody. All right. So we had to always go to Perkins on our way to Ohio. That's where my grandparents lived. And it was in Corbin, Kentucky. And my dad had to stop at Perkins every single year.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. All right. Kirk texted and said, so there is an app. Because Scott's wife likes to stop at every rest stop, he said there's an app that is a rest stop finder.
Get out.
So
don't tell her.
We just told her. I'm going to call her right now, Scott. So,
well, listen, I love that because, you know, you have to go. Everybody has to go on the planet. We're made that way. We are created that way. And I will have to go. And I'm like, I want to wait till the rest area because they're cleaner than some gas stations, right?
well, and maybe this app tells you the rating. Like, okay, the bathrooms get a 5-star. That's the one I'm looking for.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah,
some of these rest areas, no matter how bad they are still better than some of the gas stations. And I'll always stop at the gas station that's like the worst. I get back on the interstate, and there's the rest area.
Right? Because who wants to hover?
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
It's that encouraging way to start your day. Rob and Lizz on his radio. Rayhan is an amazing man. He's a sanitation worker, so he hauls trash for a living. And he is the smartest man on the planet. And he's like, I don't have the means. I want to go to college. And he shares this with all those that work with him. And they're like, Rayhan, dude, just try it. You're so smart. You might get a scholarship. Who knows? So he does. And you know where he gets accepted? Harvard. Harvard Law School. Come on now. And so here's what he does. He didn't get like a full ride, so he's still a sanitation worker. And so he hauls trash for a living and goes to Harvard. But here's the thing. He noticed those who are janitors and are in charge of sanitation and building at Harvard. And he's like, they don't look happy to me. And he started to have discussions with them. And they're like, thank you for talking to us because we really feel unseen by a lot of the students because they're smart. They do all this stuff. And we are just janitors. That's the way that they feel, that we are just this. And so we're unseen. And Rayhan sees them.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, because he's been there and he understands that invisibility, feeling like you're not seen or even, you know, worth anything because someone is not having that conversation with you. So what he did, he started out just by going out and getting some Amazon gift cards. He got some donations and he passed them out to custodians and those that were working around the school. And then it led to him actually starting an organization, a nonprofit that is actually helping what he calls unsung heroes.
Reciprocity effect. I love this. So he and a group of students got together, raised like $70,000, and then awards the unsung heroes. It is just the coolest thing that he's doing.
Yeah, and even not only that, he threw them a party so that they absolutely felt seen. They got to hear what people thought about the contribution that they do not only at that school, but also in their community.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
It's Rob and Lizz. This is his radio. So this is intriguing. A snackle box. Never heard of this until Scott mentioned it. A snackle box. What is it, Scott?
It's like, you know, a tackle box you take fishing, but all the little compartments you use for food. So you've got some meat, cheeses, you know, fruit, nuts, anything you want to pack along for your favorite snacks.
Which turns out to be great for a road trip when you're getting in the car and going off on vacation. I mean, a snackle box is like perfect.
Yeah, it keeps everything organized. I'll tell you, Lana does this. She texted 800-447-7234 and said she does dehydrated fruit, mostly like bananas, apricots, apples, peaches. And she has a little boy. Her son absolutely loves his snacks out of the Snackle box. And they use it for like after school snacks too. So she's got it in there when he gets out of school.
Really? So
Yeah.
all the dried stuff in the Snackle box. That's not a bad idea. Now, if you use a Snackle box or you have another creative idea that you do on that road trip that you take during the summer, love to hear about it. Put it on the open mic. The open mic is on the My HISRadio app.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Graduations just happened. It's such an exciting time of year. I love this.
Well, let me tell you about Xavier. He is committed to his education. He is in the 8th grade, just graduated, but he had no ride to go to the clap out. You know, that's a big deal, the clap out of the 8th grade. And so what he did was walk 6 miles to his school.
Why?
It took him about 2 hours. He had no ride.
But
He wanted
nobody-
to be a part of the clap out. So I can't tell you the reason why he didn't have a ride. He just didn't have a ride. So he walked all the way to school, did the clap out. He felt great about himself. And then there was a president of a university that heard word about this. And this president's like, if Xavier is committed to his education at 8th grade, I want to give this young man, Xavier, a free ride to my college. So it's
Oh,
the
my
Harris
goodness.
Stowe State University. And the president said, all 4 years, housing, books, fees, all covered for you.
Look, if you're an employer or the dean of a college and you are looking for students that are, or employees that are going to follow through and are going to be committed, this kid walked 6 hours.
No, 6 miles, 2
6
hours
miles,
to
sorry.
get there. Yeah. Not 6 hours. That's quite the commitment that I would not do.
That's how long it would take me.
It's 6 hours for 2 miles?
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
probably.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Fred is people's best friend.
Fred?
Fred.
Red.
Fred.
Fred.
Fred. Fred. That's actually a name of a traffic light in Finland. Fred.
Why? Does he have eyelashes and he's got characteristics and what is happening?
Well, I can't pronounce the foreign name, but it's really a traffic light that's by a school and they're testing it out right now. And when there's a car that comes up that's going the speed limit or under, this traffic light automatically turns green. So you go straight on through. And as soon as you're done, it's red and it remains red until there's a safe driver that comes by.
That is pretty cool. And especially in a school zone. I mean, we need more of that. We need
Right.
Fred here in our neighborhood.
So it's like in a test pattern for 90 days. Nobody's getting a ticket or anything like this. They just want to see if it's going to work around this school. And if it does, I think more of them are going to go up and maybe it'll become a trend so it can be worldwide because I would love some of those around our schools.
Yeah, I would as well. And nobody's getting a ticket. I mean, what if they're blowing through that school zone at 65
because
miles an hour?
it's in a test right now.
Okay, they need a ticket.
They need to
I'm
take-
sorry.
Mama Liz has spoken. But let me tell you, Scott's like, I would be constantly red.
Well, apparently every traffic light that I go up to is red. And I try to drive the speed limit. My kids are always saying, why are you driving so slow? And I hit the red lights, but it's so rare that when I get to an intersection, the light's green, where I can just roll right on through. That's my dream.
I got to ask, Scott, are you one of those people like my husband that says that a green light can be stale and then he goes ahead and slows down?
What?
I've never thought about it that way. But I have approached intersections to where I'm like, is it yellow? Is it about to turn? Is that what you mean?
Wait,
Yeah, well,
a green light goes stale?
that's what my man says, and I argue with him constantly about this in fun.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
The way I've always understood it is if you had perfume or cologne for about a year, the smell starts to turn. Like it's not like it smelled originally when you bought it. And so when I found out they have just found some 2,000-year-old perfume in Rome, I'm like, ooh, that stinks.
That got a rank, huh?
A little bit rank. But actually, they say it was preserved pretty well Like it was in a vial. It had this stopper in it. And when they opened up the vial, now this is back from when Jesus was here on earth, right? In human form. This is a long time ago. But when they uncorked it, they smelled it, said it smelled beautiful, as though it were, brand new. So it kind of has a patchouli scent.
I have no idea what a patchouli is.
Not patchouli. And
That is.
so patchouli and olive oil is what they think this mixture is. So it's going to be like a real musky, kind of an earthy. I don't want to say it smells like dirt. I don't like patchouli myself, but I know a lot of people do. But it's just really natural smelling.
What's the closest this patchouli or whatever it is?
Like,
I'm
okay.
intrigued by the name, so I can't
Of
even
patchouli.
figure out what it smells like.
So it smells kind of like, to me, if you go into the woods in springtime. So where you might smell like the tree bark or the dew on the grass, like really natural.
Wait a minute. Tree bark and grass that's wet smell different.
Right. But if you take all of those fragrances together, then that's, to me, what patchouli is. It's really deep. It's a real, like, to me, a patchouli is more of a manly smell. I'm sorry. It just is.
Yeah. I don't want to just put on my tree
You're
bark.
listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
It's Rob and Lizz in the morning. We are His Radio, and I want to thank you personally. I mean, here we are in the summer months, and I know your schedule is just so jacked right now. There's so much that's going on, but you've been faithful to His Radio during the summer months with your giving. We're listener supported, and your gift helps keep His Radio going strong through the summer, and I just want to say thanks for doing that.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing Jesus with others. You have decided that this is important to you and your family, and knowing that this ministry can reach throughout the world through the app. That's one thing. We have a young girl in Indonesia. Her name is Zoe that is listening to His Radio. And in South Africa, there are listeners that you have said you want to provide this ministry for. And that's what you do with your gifts. And you're doing it all summer long. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and if you're thinking, I'd like to help out in some way during the summer, you can text the word GIVE to 800-447-7234.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Oh, no. Wait. Hang on.
Huh.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. I had to get my phone because I have to check in on my Apple now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of do.
It's Rob and Liz in the morning on His Radio. This is something newer, right?
Yeah, it's in the latest iOS update, so it's number 17, and they have some new features on it, like your core, your battery, this kind of thing's getting updated. But this thing is a safety feature. It's kind of a tracker, but it is a journal. And so you can keep, kind of works like Life 360. It's the only other thing I've ever used to help track my family. Like I can see where my son is on his way home from work and that kind of thing. But this thing, if you deviate from your normal route or the route that you've loaded into it, it's going to let your family know.
Huh.
I like that.
Yeah.
You don't seem to like that.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why it would tell you if you deviate from your route.
Because it's trying to see, okay, if you said, I am going home and this is the route that I've put in that I'm going to go home. Let's just say I forget to let my family know I'm going to the grocery store. It's going to let them know, hey, she stopped.
Oh,
Just to
I
keep
gotcha.
you safe.
It's a little more
because-
safer feature than anything to make sure your family's okay.
Exactly.
All right.
One other thing is if your battery is running pretty, close to being out, it will let your family know, because you may not be checking your battery life, but you would check a text from your mom or, your spouse that says, hey, don't forget to charge your battery because your phone's almost dead. It's just another backup safety feature, a fail safe.
Not too bad. What they call it, Apple check-in or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.